Hey, welcome back to the final class of this weight loss masterclass 104. This is where we get into the nitty gritty. If you did not watch or attend classes 101, 102, or 103, a lot of information was shared that can clarify a lot of what I'm about to get into today, which is the wrap up. So you're going to have a whole lot of questions if you didn't attend this entire masterclass. Go back to the beginning and follow the series if you didn't. So today we're getting into the nitty gritty. What to eat, how much to eat, why to eat it. We're going to get into some weight loss guidelines, specifically some rapid results weight loss guidelines. So the first thing I want to get into is some weight loss terminology. There's so many ways that people describe eating healthy and losing weight that I want to make sure that we are on the same page with weight loss terminology. So let's first look at the word diet. When people look at changing the way that they eat in order to lose weight, they say, I'm on a diet, which is not altogether true because we all have a diet. Some of us have healthy diets, some of us have not so healthy diets. You're not being put on a diet. You are changing your diet. So change the way that you use the word diet, because when you say I'm on a diet, it sounds short term, first of all, and we're not looking for short term results. This is about lifestyle changing. So you're not on a diet. It's not a short term thing, and it's not being deprived of anything or forced to do anything. When people say I'm on a diet, it has a negative connotation. So you're not on a diet, you're changing your diet to be a little more healthy so that you can eat based on your results. Your goals. Your goal is to lose weight. You're changing your diet to make that happen, okay? So let's use the word diet with a little more discretion. You're not on a diet, you're enhancing and changing and improving your diet. Again, diet means whatever you eat. Whatever you eat is your diet. The next thing is this starving. I have a lot of clients who call me and I check them right away when they say, Tanya, I know it's between breakfast and lunch or whatever, but I'm starving. To which I say, you're being very dramatic, because starving literally is what's going on in third world countries where they don't have enough food to sustain a healthy lifestyle or a healthy body weight, I should say. And so they have these really small muscles, their bellies are swollen, they just look unhealthy. This is a person who is starving. What you are is hungry. And that's okay. People feel like being hungry means that life as you know it is ending and we got to pull the fire alarm and eat a sandwich or something. Being hungry simply means your stomach is empty and you know that another meal is coming. Okay, if you've done this correctly, you're meal prepped. You know what your lunch is going to be or your next meal is going to be. You just need to sit in that discomfort and not be so used to pacifying yourself by always having something in your stomach. So when you say that you're starving, you're being dramatic. You're hungry, and hunger is okay. It's okay to be hungry for a couple of hours. You're fine. We really have to relax when it comes to this idea of our stomachs being empty being some sort of emergency, or it's a bad thing to have your stomach growl. I've asked clients before, when's the last time you had your stomach or felt your stomach growl? And some people say it's been years. And that to me means you've never given your body the time to burn off a meal before eating something else. So your body's constantly processing food, which is another reason that our bodies break down. In addition to being overweight when you eat constantly, think about your body as a food processing center. If it's constantly going 24/7 because you eat a meal, then you snack, then you pinch, then you eat a meal, then you pinch, it's constant processing. Your organs break down when they don't have time to rest. So hunger is not starvation. Okay, you're being dramatic. The next word is servings. So I'll talk a lot about a serving of this and a serving of that. When I speak on that, I'm talking about a portion size, a recommended portion size of something that you should eat based on the nutrition label or based on what a portion is. And the nutrition label is a really good reference for this. For instance, it will tell you how much of a food is enough in one sitting. One portion of chicken, for instance, is 3 to 5 ounces, I'll say, of chicken or meat. Whereas one portion of mayonnaise is only 1 tablespoon. So portion sizes matter. Make sure you get in the habit of turning over that package, reading the label, and seeing how much of this food is really enough. And then make the decision, am I going to have one portion or two? But I always say a free hand is the devil, because if you just squirt mayonnaise on something, you have no idea if you have one portion or 5 portions. And this is one of those ways that you can monitor your intake and lose weight without having to count calories. Be mindful of portion sizes. Although, in a future video, I am going to teach you how to count calories and how to determine how many calories you should take in per day. We're going to get into that. These videos will keep coming from now on, believe me. So portions matter. Serving sizes matter. And this is where you want to, again, get into what I told you in the earlier video. Having measuring cups, measuring spoons, and a food scale is so critical, especially in the beginning of your weight loss journey. You don't know, you can't eyeball a portion of anything because your inner fat girl is still telling you, oh, that ain't enough. Why her voice gotta be like that? For instance, you still get that thing in you that's saying just however much you want or feel like eating is what you should eat. In the beginning, you have to train your eye. Use serving instruments, measuring cups, measuring spoons, and a food scale. You won't regret it. But when I speak about servings, I'm talking about portion sizes based on the food label, and it's so important to measure those things, especially in the beginning until you train your eye. You won't have to use them forever, but in the beginning, you have to train your eye to know what a portion, what a tablespoon looks like, what a cup of rice looks like. You don't automatically have that ability. So take time, measure, and monitor your servings. Next is this word carbs. People feel like carbs are the devil and that there's no way to lose weight if you're eating carbs. I can't tell you how many clients over the years have said to me, there's cereal on this diet. There's bread on your meal plan. How is that possible? I heard this or I heard that. Rapid Results works because what I do is teach you how to be a balanced eater. And some people don't mind not eating carbs. No bread, no pasta, no cereal. Some people don't care about that. But if you do, you want to find a way to work it into your diet so that you're being responsible. Serving sizes matter, but that you're eating what naturally is good to you. Carbs are not the devil. They do not stop you from losing weight. The problem with carbs is what we're going to get into now is what types of carbs are you eating, how much of those carbs are you eating, and what time of day you're eating them. We're going to get into that. That's the bigger problem with carbohydrates. So carbs are not the enemy. Carbs are just really easy to overeat. And that's why some people think that taking them out altogether is necessary. But I assure you it is not. And then lastly, under this weight loss terminology, I want to get into the definition of a balanced meal. So a balanced meal is really focused on the macronutrients. Some people say, well, I want to count my grams of sugar and grams of this and that. I'm here to teach the average person how to manage their weight through eating healthy. And everybody's not trying to get into the micronutrients. So when I say macronutrients, a balanced meal has good carbs, it has lean protein, and it has good fats, right? So let's get into what that entails. I want you to look at this next section of the video, speaking about balanced meals, as your grocery list, because we're going to create a grocery list based on my description. So if you get a pen and paper, you want to write out different categories for your grocery list. This first category is going to be your carbs. So there's 2 different ways to get carbs into your diet. One of them is through starches, things like rice, oats, barley, whole grains, and sprouted foods. Those are ways to get starches, good carbs in your diet through starches. The other way is through plants, which is fruit and vegetables. Yes, fruit and vegetables are carbs. And, when you think about it, there are things like corn and potatoes and rice that can be a vegetable, but also we count them as a carbohydrate. So there are 2 different ways to get these things into your diet. When you're doing this grocery list under carbs, you want to make a subcategory that says my starches and then my fruit and vegetables. Under starches, what you want to do is list only things that are naturally occurring carbs. Rice, potatoes, corn, peas, all these things. These are naturally occurring carbs. What you want to avoid and what people tend to be afraid of are man-made carbs. These are things that had to go through some sort of factory process and then they spit it out into the grocery store. It didn't just grow out of the ground and get gathered and then sold, right? So limit your man-made carbs. What are those? Cakes, crackers, certain breads. If you do go for breads, you want to make sure that the first ingredient is whole grain or a whole wheat something. Little fun fact. If you look at the nutrition label on the back of anything, it's listed in order of content. So the first thing on the ingredient list is the thing that this food is mostly composed of. If the first thing is sugar, then what you're mainly about to eat is some sugar with some other stuff in it. If the first ingredient is whole grain oats, then what you're primarily eating is oats. So get in the habit of flipping over that package and not just looking at the entertaining front of the package, which is meant to just catch your eye. Turn it over and see what it is that you're really eating. Under starches, you want to have primarily naturally occurring starches. If you do go for the bread, be mindful about the ingredient list, making sure it doesn't start out with bleached or refined anything. And then when it comes to plants, go for it. Whatever plant you like, add it to your grocery list. Corn, peas, carrots, a kale, whatever it is. Make a huge list of the vegetables and the fruit that you like. There's nothing that says that you have to eat things you don't like. But if you say that you don't like fruit and vegetables, you need to get a life because your body called and it said it needs those things. Okay? So under carbs on the grocery list, you've got your starches and you've got your list of fruit and vegetables. Okay, now we're moving on to the next category on your grocery list, which is your lean proteins. So there's two different ways to get lean protein. There's animal proteins and then there are plant-based proteins. So in this day of the Impossible Whopper and so forth, we all know how to get protein through plants. But the way that you want to get protein through animal products is to make sure that there's no skin, because skin is literally just fat. So skinless chicken or so forth. But if it's a cut of meat, you want to trim as much of the fat, the visible fat off as possible. And I know that the fat gives you flavor, but it also gives you fat. So trim the fat. And in terms of a serving size of meat, between 3 to 6 ounces is a serving of steak or salmon or chicken or turkey. Usually you think about it as your palm, the circumference of your palm, and about the thickness of your palm with no fingers. Yogurt is a really good way to get in lean protein. There's so many ways. So animal proteins and then plant-based proteins. I'm going to just run off some plant-based proteins. You have meats. You have nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, quinoa, tofu, and then plant-based sausages or burgers or things like that. Black bean burgers and all of these are ways to get plant-based proteins. In this era, there are so many plant-based options. You have Morning Star, you have Beyond Meat, and there are a ton of videos on YouTube to teach you how to make plant-based burgers or plant-based chicken and things like that if you're someone who does not eat meat or you want to eliminate some meat. Now, I will say this about lean proteins. It is best to eat as many plant-based proteins as you can and minimize. So I go for like a 75-25. 75% of my diet is plant-based. 25% of my diet is animal-based. So this means I have a low-fat diet just by default. And in fact, recently, I've felt like chicken and turkey even taste weird. Maybe it's the factory farming, I don't know, but I used to love chicken wings, however I can get them. And now, like, the texture's weird, the skin seems thicker and more slimy. So I've like gone straight pescatarian just by elimination, just not liking the way that our food tastes and letting my body and my taste buds be my guide. And so you want to be really mindful of that, but you want to like a 75% plant-based protein and 25% animal-based proteins. And next we want to get into healthy fats. So again, balanced meals, healthy carbs, healthy proteins, lean proteins, and then healthy fats and condiments. So I'm going to get into the difference between healthy and unhealthy fats and condiments. This is really the difference between saturated and unsaturated. So you hear this all the time. Oh, it's got unsaturated this or that. Those are the things you really want to go for. So healthy fats are things that you always want to have on the grocery list. They are olive oil, they are coconut oil, even avocado can take the place of mayonnaise on a sandwich or in a chicken salad or something like that. You can use avocado for some healthy plant fats. And you also want to keep on the grocery list those non-stick cooking sprays. They come in coconut oil, butter flavored, and all these things. They have no calories, but they cook like fat. So that's a cheater right there. That's a cooking hack to keep those oils, those healthy fats on your grocery list. Also, vegan mayonnaise and vegan butter will be lower in saturated fat. Why? Because animal products have high saturated fat. Okay, so when we get into the examples of unsaturated fat, or I'm sorry, saturated fat, they are things like regular butter and mayo, sauces and gravies, a lot of the dairy ranch dressings and Caesar dressings and all of those sorts of things, creamy dressings, they tend to be high in fat. You want to replace those with vinaigrettes dressings. There's so many vinaigrettes out here. There are fruity ones, there are balsamic, tart ones. There's so many different vinaigrette dressings out here. But again, if you do like your creamy dressings, you want to make sure that you use a tablespoon. Flip that bottle over. What is a serving of this dressing and how much am I paying for it in calories? You're going to have your feelings hurt because one little stingy tablespoon of your average dressing can be between 100 and 200 calories. It makes me sad, but it's true. But again, if you are mindful of the serving size, you don't really have to worry about that. You just don't want to be free-handing dressing. And this is why you don't want to be free-handing dressing, because if you do, you can have on that salad or that sandwich more calories than the sandwich itself. That can happen. So be really, really mindful of the serving when it comes to even the healthy fats. 1 tablespoon of olive oil is the same as 1 tablespoon of butter. They're both about 100, 120 calories per serving. 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise is 100 calories. It matters, okay? Don't freehand your condiments. Don't do it. And look for your healthy, unsaturated versions of condiments and fats when you're cooking. All right, if you have any questions about what I just said, please comment or contact me and I can absolutely guide you through the details. Let's look at the weight loss guidelines in terms of when to eat, what to eat, and why. So the first guideline is that you eat 3 meals per day. This, again, freaks the snackers out because they feel like, well, I heard I'm supposed to eat 6 times a day, to which I say, are you a bodybuilder? Because if not, or a toddler, because if not, you don't have the demand for that much food a day. And if you do want to eat 6 times a day, that's fine. But look at what they're eating 6 times a day. It is half a sweet potato and a piece of grilled chicken. It's not what you're doing. It's not what you want to do. It's not a Kit Kat bar. Okay. So I say in the beginning, just like you're using your instruments to train your eye, in the beginning, stick to 3 meals per day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner is all you need. If it's a balanced meal, you will feel satiated, you won't be starving, and you'll just have to do that work of, figuring out what you like to do besides chew. Life is not all about eating. That's what got you here in the first place of being overweight, is entertaining yourself with food. Food is not entertainment. It can be entertaining, but when you're sitting there watching TV and you say, I'm bored, you need to be thinking about what else you like to do, because chewing got you to a place of being overweight, or at least needing to watch this video, right? I'm happy that you're here, but you need to figure out and maybe even write a list of things you like to do besides chew. And this is the list that you want to go to when you're feeling that exposure to the idea of eating, because it's just a thought. You don't have to eat every time you think about eating. All right. So my first recommendation is that you eat 3 balanced meals. No snacks, not even healthy snacks. Let it burn. Let it burn. And also, this is where you do that mental and emotional work. If you say you're an emotional eater, then you need to figure out what you're emotional about. What is eating you? Because eating food to try and block that out is going to kill you. You have to be a big girl or boy and address what is it that you're stressed about? What is it that you're afraid of? Get into that. And you may even need to get some therapeutic assistance with that, because you can't eat your problems away. They're going to be right there as soon as you get done eating, and you're going to want to eat again. It's just like any other drug. A person who uses heroin or pops pills to kind of numb themselves, as soon as they become sober again, they're going to what? Want to do it again. And the other thing that happens is the more you entertain yourself with a substance, the more it's going to take each time for you to feel satisfied. So this is how we become bigger and bigger and bigger. 3 cookies is not enough. I need 6, and then I need a half of a pack, and then this kind of thing. So 3 meals also keeps you in mind of when you're deviating. So if you're breakfast, lunch, dinner only, when you put your hand to your mouth in between a meal, you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong. Put it down. Breakfast, lunch, dinner is plenty of food. You're not a toddler or a bodybuilder. If you are, you're watching the wrong video. Okay. 3 meals, no snacks. Again, snacks are for kids. The next thing is you want to fast for 4 to 6 hours between meals. A lot of people contact me and they're like, well, Tanya, what do you think about this intermittent fasting? I say, I've been recommending that for years. I dare say almost 20 years. Not eating between meals is fasting between meals. Why is fasting healthy? Like I just said earlier, it's giving your body a break between meals. Your stomach is not constantly churning. Your intestines aren't constantly, your gallbladder is not constantly this. Your liver is not constantly processing. Fasting is healthy because it gives your organs a break for 4 to 6 hours between meals. The other reason fasting is so healthy is because it eliminates all those micro meals that add up to meals, that add up to pounds. So you are in fact fasting, intermittent fasting, when you shut the window between meals. Open it up for breakfast, shut it. Open it up for lunch, shut it. Dinner, done. So it doesn't matter. Some people say, well, I don't eat breakfast. You can call it what you want to. I call it first meal, second meal, third meal. So let's say you're someone like myself. I like to eat my first meal around 11 or 12 o'clock. I get up, I get my day started, I have coffee, which is an appetite suppressant, but I also enjoy it. I get my workout in and everything early, and then around 12 o'clock is when I have my, what would technically be my breakfast, is my first meal. So whatever time you have that first meal, it doesn't matter as long as you are not pinching, nibbling, sampling, all this stuff, and just not calling it breakfast, because all of that adds up. Your body adds it up even if you don't. So your first meal doesn't matter, but note what time it is, because you want to map out 4 to 6 hours from that meal time until you open that window again. Your fasting window opens again to allow you to eat lunch. Then you shut it down, note the time, and there comes dinner. This also is beneficial for people who work nights or who say, well, I like to eat late. Like, some people say it's bad to eat late at night. It's not bad to eat late at night. It's bad to overeat no matter what time it is. So if you're someone who enjoys having a meal before you go to bed, or you're up late and you want a meal later into the day, push your meals back. Make your first meal around lunchtime, your second meal around dinner time, and then your third meal can be whatever time you want it to be. There's no such thing as eating too late if you're eating balanced. And I'm going to get into that a little bit deeper in a second. The other thing about fasting, it gives your body a break, helps you burn off your calories, but think about body fat. Like if you look at yourself naked in the mirror, all of the excess that you see, the jiggly substance, that's food. That is the food that your body stored because you gave it too much, and because unlike vitamins, we don't just pee out the excess food, calories, we store it because our body's thinking, okay, she's overeating. That must mean we're about to migrate and we won't have access to food. So our body has this wonderful sophisticated process for storing food so that we don't die from starvation. It's an evolutionary thing. We completely pervert the whole system by storing and storing and eating and eating and storing and storing. And this is how you end up not only overweight, but with different diseases, because our bodies were only meant to use this fat storage short term and in small amounts. So 5 pounds or so for a couple of days or weeks or so. But we are heavier and heavier for year after year after year. This is where your body starts to break down and you get metabolic issues like diabetes and you get heart disease and all of this because the stress of carrying all this extra food around on your body. So that's another benefit of fasting is it allows you to burn off the food you just ate, plus a little bit of that old food, that stored body fat. And this is essentially weight loss. That is weight loss. Using up fat storage is weight loss. Okay, so that's the other benefit of fasting, 4 to 6 hours between your balanced meal. The other thing you want to make sure that you incorporate into your diet is a multivitamin. There are so many different multivitamins. If you're someone who's like a Whole Foods, non-GMO, super pure person, go to Whole Foods. They have vitamins based on gender and age and all of that. Or you can just go with a good old-fashioned A to Z multivitamin that you take daily. Either way, you want to be consistent with this because this is another way that you make sure you have the nutrition you need so that you're less likely to be to have what do you want to call it, food cravings based on the nutrition, because your body does crave what you're lacking. Some people say, well, I really want sugar, I need sugar. I just said there's more than one way to get carbs. Carbs are sugar, and that's through fruit. So you don't have to eat the worst possible option for satisfying your craving. Add fruit to your meals. No snacks. We don't snack on fruit. We can put fruit in a salad or have it on the side of a sandwich or with our breakfast in the morning. But a multivitamin makes sure that you're getting what you need nutritionally, so you're less likely to have those food cravings. Malnutrition is something that can happen even if you're overweight. You can be 600 pounds and be malnourished, whereas you can't be 600 pounds and starve, right? So let's really, really think about that. You can be overweight and malnourished because there's very little nutrition in the foods that we tend to eat that tend to lead to being overweight. Fast food, very little nutrition. Starchy, man-made stuff, very little nutrition. Whereas if you're eating fruit and vegetables and balanced meals, good fats, not the saturated fat, you'll find that you feel more satiated between meals. You feel good because not only did you eat for calories, also known as energy, but you gave your body the nutrition that it needs to fight disease. Think about it like this. Let's say there is, God forbid, a cancer cell in your body. If you eat a high man-made, high sugar, high bad fat diet, you're helping that cancer cell proliferate. Whereas you can starve and even ratify cancer by eating the way that I'm telling you to eat here. I've seen hundreds of people, and that's not an exaggeration, reverse their diagnosis of diabetes simply by eating this way. So people make excuses. Well, I have diabetes. I have to eat every 2 hours. You do not. You do not. I challenge you to follow these instructions, diabetics. Follow these instructions that I'm giving you for how to build balanced meals. I still want you to fast for 46 hours between meals. Monitor your blood sugar and watch what I tell you. Your blood sugar will be more level and you'll need less pills or insulin, whichever version you're on. You'll have less of these spikes when you eat the way I'm talking about here. So don't fight it right away. Try it. Monitor your blood sugar while eating this way. I guarantee you it reverses your diabetic blood sugar spikes. I guarantee it. And this is if you're hypo or hyperglycemic. Okay, so multivitamin, take it consistently. I always say put a couple of vitamins in a pill in your purse or in your car, because sometimes you think about it and you don't have it on you, and so you can't take it. A good time to take your multivitamin is also with a meal. The multivitamins that I take came from Whole Foods, and you don't have to eat them with meals, so I can just pop it whenever I think about it. But whenever you think about these habits that we're establishing, this eating 3 meals per day, you really have to plan ahead. And just like you plan your meals, you want to plan your supplements when you take your supplements. Some people say, well, I'm on medication, I have to eat with my medication. I say, line your medication up with your meal times. Don't add calories. It's not necessary to do it that way. Even if it's just a cracker or just a piece of fruit, don't do it. Line your meals up with your medication, or line your medication up with your meals, but don't add extra meals. Stick with the 3 meals, no snacks. Monitor your blood sugar. Be responsible about it. But I guarantee you're going to be so surprised at how much better your blood sugar will maintain a healthy level when you eat this way. It's amazing. It makes me so happy. It's one of the things I love about what I do, is teaching people how to manage their diagnosis of heart disease and diabetes just by following these simple guidelines. All right, so take your multivitamin, keep it on you, and then I'm going to say this forever and ever and ever: water, 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 water. I talked about how much water you should get in the previous video, so go ahead and make sure you watch that. I talked about how to know how much water you need and if you need more or less, based on your urine color and your urine frequency. So water, water, water. Water takes away your food cravings. Water gives you energy. Water helps you regulate your blood sugar. Water helps you regulate your body temperature. It flushes toxins from your body. Don't fight it. Water yourself. All right, so now let's look into how to build these healthy meals. I want to give you some examples of healthy breakfast, healthy lunch, and healthy dinner. Breakfast, and this is something you want to write down, my recommendation and our guidelines for the program go like this. All meals have those healthy components: healthy carbs, healthy proteins, healthy fats. So for breakfast, you want to have 2 servings of carbs, 1 protein, 1 fruit or vegetable. Again, I'm going to say that. 2 carbs. So in the morning, you go ahead and load up a couple slices of toast, a couple servings of oatmeal, a couple servings of cereal. You don't have to do 2, but this is where you can have more carbs. Again, naturally occurring carbs. And the reason for that is it's early in the day. You got all day long to burn that sugar back off. And it gives you that energy you need to get the day going. So in the morning, breakfast, 2 carbs, 1 protein, because all meals must contain protein, and then 1 fruit or vegetable serving of fruit or vegetables. Okay, then 4 to 6 hours later, you want to have lunch, and I recommend you build it like this. Lunch, we have 1 serving of carb. So we break it down because we're kind of winding down. We're midday. We don't need to put all the gas in the tank at lunch. So lunch, 1 serving of carbs, 2 servings of protein, 1 serving of fruit or vegetables. That's how I recommend you build your lunch. And then dinner, this is so important. This is why I said that you can eat dinner in the middle of the night if you want to, if that's how you like to take in your 3 meals, one of them late at night, because dinner should never have a starch if you're on this weight loss track, because your body first looks for carbohydrates to burn. Secondly, it looks for fat. So if at night you don't eat any carbs, what is your body going to do all night long? Burn fat. Your body burns most of your body fat while you are resting, specifically sleeping. So if you don't eat carbs at night, just protein and vegetables, again, not even fruit, protein and vegetables, you got what your body needed nutritionally, and you're putting yourself in a position to just burn fat like a machine all night long. So after dinner, kitchen is closed until breakfast because we don't snack. Go through examples of breakfast. Breakfast, 2 carbs, 1 protein, 1 fruit. That could be 2 slices of toast with 1 serving of peanut butter and 1 banana. That's an example of a balanced breakfast. 4 to 6 hours later, an example of a balanced lunch would be what I call an open-faced burger. So you've got your half of a burger bun or 1 slice of bread. You've got your 3 to 4 ounces of the burger, the protein, the actual patty. You can slap even 1 serving of cheese on that. And then you want to load it with all the vegetables that you like: lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, blah, 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 blah. And then you want to monitor your condiments. So don't go too far on the condiments, the mayo, and so forth. Mustard is free. It has no calories. So an open face burger is a great lunch idea. And then a good dinner idea would be a chicken Caesar salad. Chicken Caesars are one of my favorite salads because they're widely available and they're also super easy to make. So that is an example. Morning, you have your peanut butter and banana toast. Lunch, you have your open face burger. Dinner, you have a Caesar salad. You've gotten all the nutrition you need. You've gotten all your macros in. You're drinking your water. You're doing the cardio based on our recommendations. You will experience weight loss, I guarantee. All right. And lastly, let's end this seminar talking about how to track your weight. Super duper important. Number 1, weigh yourself only 1 day a week. My recommendation is a Sunday or Monday. The reason I say that is because if you weigh on a Friday, for instance, it almost gives you permission to cut up all weekend and gain weight. I'm not saying that I don't believe in you. I'm just saying that I've learned over the years, I've been doing this close to 15 years. I've learned over the years that I used to weigh in on Fridays, and I've learned that people just lose it. I have clients weigh in and then I run into them and they're in line at Burger King trying to order all the chicken tenders or, what have you. It's like, no, don't do that. If you weigh on Sunday or Monday, it keeps that weekend warrior mentality in check. So my recommendation first, weigh yourself one day only, just Sunday or Monday, right? A lot of times when people say they don't understand how they gained 50 pounds, it's because they didn't do this. Get on the scale one day a week, at least one day a week, okay? Weighing yourself every single day can be very nerve-wracking. I don't recommend it. I have clients that do send me their weight once a day, and it's because they have really huge, they binge, and they can gain 10 pounds in 2 days. And so I have them send me their weight every day to kind of keep that in check. But in the beginning, one day a week, Sunday or Monday. The second thing is weigh yourself on the same scale each time. If you put two scales next to each other, you're going to get two different numbers. It's just the nature of the beast. So you want to weigh yourself on that same scale every single time. And the other thing I tell people is put your scale on a hard surface, not on carpet or grass or anything like that. Hard surface, and press on all four corners individually to make sure that the scale does not rock. That's how you know it's level. And then make sure you know your scale and that it's calibrated to 0. You need to do that at least every couple of weeks and check your batteries. And hop on that scale and put that scale back in that same place on the floor every time. Don't weigh yourself in the living room one week and then in the bathroom the next week. And you need to have a weigh-in location. So one scale, one day a week, one location. And then you want to keep written track of your weight. Your weigh-ins, I should say. This is really motivating if you're doing well because you can see that number ticking down little by little. And if you're having a hard time, it can let you know that you need to do something, maybe cut back on your servings of certain things until you get to a lower calorie intake to get that scale moving, or you need to bump up that cardio. It lets you know something's not quite right if you're stuck. Again, if you need my help, I am here for you. This is what I do. Okay. And then lastly, you want to revisit your goals. We spoke about goal setting in the last video. You want to reset those goals every 30 days until you get to your ultimate, we spoke about that, until you get to that ultimate weight. And even then, you want to continue to follow all of these recommendations. That's the big thing here, people. We're not doing this just to arrive at a healthy weight and then we let off the gas and go back to our old habits. This is a change of your mind, a change of your life, a change of how you speak about eating, a change about how positive you are about your lifestyle change. It's a choice. You're doing this for yourself, not to yourself. And another good thing is if you continue doing these things I'm teaching you here, the junky food won't taste as good. Right now you may be able to binge on Oreos or shakes or whatever, but the cleaner you eat for the longer time, your body starts to heal from those things. Your taste buds start to level off where you can see that candy or cheesecake or whatever is super sweet compared to natural sugar like fruit. So keep this in mind as a whole mind shift. This is not a short-term thing. This is how you establish a healthy lifestyle so that you can manage your weight, not just to reach that ultimate goal, but to offset diseases, to lower your hypertension and so forth for the rest of your life. All right. Thank you all so much for attending this masterclass. It was so much fun. Going through these really rudimentary basic elements of my weight loss program. Again, these are the recommendations that I give to my clients doing the 30-day challenge, which has just a basic meal plan. If you're interested in doing this 30-day challenge with me as your coach, please contact me. Or if you're interested in doing one of my other more comprehensive programs where we give you daily weekly meal plans and daily coaching, I'm here for that as well. My name is T.Y. Richardson. I am so excited to start this channel and to educate people who are here for the lifestyle. Stay tuned because I'm going to always show you a bunch of my weight loss transformations. I have tons and tons and tons of clients before and after pictures because what? Rapid Results works.